Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. Today's Vortex is a companion to yesterday's Vortex. That one was on hope. This one is on charity. If you've seen only one of them, please watch the other one as well. They go hand in hand. We've produced these in specific response to some emails we receive from viewers. Now, we get hundreds of emails every week from viewers, and the overwhelming majority are extremely positive. Thank you. But a small number say that the material we cover in The Vortex makes them feel either hopeless on the one hand, or that we lack charity in our approach on the other hand. We addressed the issue of hope in yesterday's Vortex. Today, we'd like to talk about the issue of charity. Oftentimes, when people think of charity, they think of people being nice. As a matter of fact, many people actually equate the two. They oftentimes even substitute the two words for each other. Giving a beggar money is called an act of charity. It's also said of the giver that he was nice. Yes, there is some similarity, but the discerning mind is the one that can draw distinctions when distinctions need to be drawn. Charity sometimes involves being nice. Other times it involves the exact opposite. What do we mean then by the word nice? The person who is nice is the one who never gives offense, always polite, always cordial, always nice, never the one who rocks the boat. This understanding of nice couldn't be more dangerous to the faith. It is the exact opposite of charity. For someone to never give offense, that person must necessarily never challenge anything, for someone somewhere would be offended by the challenge. For them to never challenge anything means they tolerate whatever the prevailing status quo is. For to challenge the status quo would be to give offense to those who support it. And remember, the status quo is the status quo precisely and exactly because that is the way the majority of people want it to be. So to challenge the status quo means you automatically offend the majority of people. So what needs to be looked at is not the question of whether challenging the status quo is uncharitable, but rather, is the status quo acceptable in terms of the teachings of Jesus Christ and His Holy Catholic Church? We spend a great deal of time in The Vortex challenging the status quo, outside and inside the church. But as the most recent number of months have gone by, we've come to realize that the greatest danger to the faith lies not from without, but from within. In this, we are echoing the thoughts of our Holy Father himself, who said as much a few weeks ago. As we look around the church, at least in the West, what do we see? Much good, yes, of course. But much of that good is undone or neutralized by a stagnant, ossified, politicized bureaucracy, seemingly more intent on keeping itself in power and the trappings of prestige than fulfilling its primary duty of saving souls. When leaders refuse to challenge heresy and confront it and crush it underfoot, they are not being charitable. They are being nice, but they're not being charitable. When heresy spreads, people go to hell. Our blessed Lord was not nice, not by the conventional understanding of that word. He was, however, charitable. In fact, being God, he is, of course, charity itself. When Jesus called the Pharisees hypocrites and blind guides and broods of vipers and whitened sepulchres, he was exercising the highest degree of charity that he could. He was warning them that their obeisance to the status quo was leading them to hell. He even cries to them at one point, "How can any of you escape damnation?" Nice people are well-liked. Charitable people are almost universally despised, if not immediately, then eventually. Our goal at RealCatholicTV.com is not to be well-liked. We don't like it when others in the church don't like us. We're human and we have feelings after all, but we lay those feelings aside for the sake of charity. Do we say things that upset the status quo? Well, you bet. Charity, at its heart, will have two outcomes. It will disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. We don't talk about the things we talk about for the sake of causing upset. We talk about them for two reasons. One, because the truth needs to be defended and advanced for its own sake. Secondly, when the truth is spoken, at least some people respond and amend their rotten lives of sin. That's what happened in my case. My mom was not very nice when she said, in short, "Give up your filthy life of sin, Michael, before you die and go to hell." But of all the things she ever said to me, that was absolutely the most charitable. Not nice, but charitable. Which brings us to the next point. We are aware, or have become aware, that thousands of people only know the Vortex. For example, if you're one of the thousands and thousands of people who watch us on YouTube or Facebook, chances are you may not even be aware of the enormous amount of programming we have on our homepage, realcatholictv.com. You won't find anything there that could be even close to being described as being devoid of charity. These programs of apologetics and catechesis and spirituality and the devotional life of the church are an act of love, of charity on the part of the entire staff here that makes enormous sacrifices. Believe me, they make enormous sacrifices of time and energy and most especially money. With one goal in mind, they make these sacrifices: to spread the truth of the Catholic faith so ourselves and others will not go to hell, but will spend eternity with our loving Father, for which we were created. We understand that if someone looks at just one very small part of realcatholictv.com, namely the Vortex, that if they have an incorrect view of charity, they might easily conclude, well, those guys are really uncharitable. But the Vortex comprises a very small percentage of what we do. While the Vortex may be the most visible, part of that is because it's so short. We can't post hour-long or two-hour-long programs on Facebook or YouTube. They won't support that kind of video format. But the message we promote here is absolutely one of charity, true charity. We've attached a splendid article to this Vortex which talks about true charity. You can get to it by clicking on the link right over here. Now, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please go to realcatholictv.com, click on today's Vortex entitled Charity, and then click on the link. And we invite you to tune into all the rest of the programming on realcatholictv.com. Hundreds of hours of it. We have some previews of our various programs. Hear the message of true charity, authentic charity. It is not charity to be polite and nice when others are tumbling into hell. One day, every person will be called to account. All of us, you, me, all of us. If we live according to the will of Christ, heaven will be ours. But when forces try to block that message or compromise it, they are the enemies of authentic charity. God bless you. I'm Michael Voris.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.